Hey sister, let's try this tonight. By the way, I found gloves that I think Mama had saved for me, and these were probably worn either for somebody's wedding or I don't know, maybe even my prom. Who knows? Anyway, I'm going to be using them as a rag, and then we'll split the pair, and you'll always have the better half of me. So, to start out, you want to create a vignette. Now, let me sit down. Okay, I found this paint palette. It's 42 little pans of paint, and look how they fan out. It reminds me of going and picking out paint. Love them. And if you like them, I'll tell you where I got them on Amazon. It was one of those warehouse finds. I always start out with a vignette with a brownish, grayish color. I've already started this one a little bit. It even has a little palette right here. I'll be reaching across me, but I've got it set up this way. Just take, oh, your big brush. Did I tell you? It's an 18, a 10, and a 6. You'll have the sizes that correspond either up or down to these, so just pick a big, a mid, and a small. So anyway, just wet the edge of your paper like that. Then you go here and pick up a grayish, brownish color. That looks good right there. And you just want a wash, a very light wash, like that. And then just go around and around. Now you're going to need a little background for your flowers. So I just take it and do that right there. Very light. Now, I deepened the color. You can see how you just pick up a color and do it around and around. If it gets too dark, just add water. You can wash it off. And I always tap off right there. Okay, so there's your vignette starting out. I took a 9 by 12 and cut it in quarters. So this would be 4.5 by 6. I like working with these sizes. Okay, you can tell my vignette right here got darker, but if I want to, because it's watercolor, I can lighten it up just by taking water and rinsing it off and tapping it off like that. All right, now we're ready to put some flowers on it. I don't remember exactly what I did for yours, but I'll do the general thing. Since this background is already yellowish in color, I'll make the flowers a little bit orange. Now these, you want it deeper in color. Okay, so here's the first flower. There we go. That's a flower. I just take it and pounce it up and down like that. Then we'll do one down here. Pounce it around like that. To get variable colors, just pick another color and just pounce it in there like that. Okay, then we'll do one right here. All right. Now, I want kind of a yellowish, but I don't know if yellow's going to show up. We'll try. I'm going to add some gold to it. And then to make the flowers look different, I just take it 1, 2, 3. And then we need one, let's say right here, 1, 2, 3. And messy is good, by the way. Now, let me add just 1 or 2 right here. We'll mix the orange and the yellow. Let's say we want one right here. Pounce it up and down like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We need one more. Let's do a reddish one. Right here. You can do it around or you can do it that way. Doesn't matter. That's too brown, so I'm going to add some red into it right here. Yeah, that's better. And because it looks so good, I'm going to do it down here. Okay, you see how wet that is. All right. Then this one has had time to dry. I generally did the same thing. Oh, I want some of this red right here. Let's do it right here. Now this, I had some paint left and I was trying to do like a lilac hydrangea blossom. Just lay down a darker color and then add your lighter color and then leave it flat to dry. All right, now take any fine tip marker. This is one of those pen markers. And if you want flowers to face you, you start in the middle and you go around and around and around. That's how you get your flowers. That one's a little too tight. I'm going to go one more like that. So that one's facing me, so I'm going to go around and around. This one is looking up toward the sun, so you start at the top and just do like that. Just concentric circles, I guess, like that. This one I left because we can actually, if you want to, do a middle in it to make it look like a daisy, like that. But since we're not doing that, let's go ahead and do it this way. Okay. Now all the flowers have to have a stem, and stems don't really grow straight. This one will need to go right there through that flower. Just pick it up. There. We'll take this stem down that way. And this stem down through here. Okay. Now, this is kind of a tulip-like flower, so it'll have a long, slender leaf like that. This one is a daisy-like flower, so it'll have like a heart leaf like that. And we'll make these leaves just smaller because they're closer to the ground. That, and then your long swoopy leaves like that. And then this one, long slender leaves like that. This one kind of crosses over and goes up that way. Okay, that's enough leaves. So then you take your number 10 brush and start mixing your greens. Now this right here will look good with green, so I'll just pick it up and put it on my brush and flip this over to the green section. I love this palette. I'm going to mix 3 greens together, and then add a little brown to it, and then I ought to do it right there. Tap it off, bring it over here. Now I hold my brush almost straight up like you have a pencil in your hand. That may help you do the strokes, I'm not sure. Just find all your leaves. It's okay that they're the same color green because this one right here needs a few little leaves on it like that. Then we want a deeper color to be the shadow, so just pick up a brown and add it to that green you're already working with. See how wet that is? You want it that way. That way it mixes together. Now that is a little bit too dark, but I'm going to go ahead and get the stems with this dark. Now you can go to your smaller brush if you want to. I'm just going to go ahead and do it with this brush. Okay, then that's too dark right there, so I'm going to erase the color just by taking my brush, my wet brush, pull it through it, and then that erases the color. Then I'm going to lay down a little bit of greenish brown right there. Olive, I guess, would be right. And then kind of mess up the other leaves to give them a shadow. Okay. So then we need a long spike or two. Now it's better to let this dry so your hand doesn't drag through it, but I'm going to go ahead. So a stalk will come from here, go up that way, and take a little turn like that. Should have a sharper point on it like that. And then one over here. Alright, well, wait. Okay. So then take any of your brownish green and just add it in right there. I'm going to add a little bit more green right here. Okay, now I'm going to swap out. I did the same here as I did here. You can see the colors vary a little bit just because I was working with another palette. But now we're ready for our hyacinth looking flowers. So, let me show you how I did those. Now you need a spike coming up like that. It's fine that it went off the page. One more right here. Now, draw it down to the ground like that. And then take your middle brush, which is the one I was using for the green, and find your blues. We didn't need to mix two blues. Now that green's going to get in the way. So, I'm going to wipe that off. That's getting prettier. Two blues. And for the hyacinths, you just do dabs of color like that. Hyacinths grow, you know, tall on a stalk with just little buds of color coming out like that. Okay, so that did that. Now, back to this one I've already done. You can come back in later on and add darker accents if you want to. This right here wanted to be something, I don't know, a lilac bud or whatever. Anyway, that's a mess. But here's the good part about doing it this way. Oh, shadows. Let me show you how to drop in these shadows right here. I like to use the brown and the green that I've already used. If I had left it on my palette, it would have been perfect. Now you want to really water it down, almost see-through like that. And then just go here and really wet it. And just wherever it runs is where it should run like that. That creates the shadows. And you can add more brown if you want to, like that. Do it under the flower, like if the sun's from here, do it there. Make it messy. So that creates your shadows. You can even do a ground if you want to. And like I said, if you don't like it, Just take this and erase the color. Now when that dries, it'll look more natural than it does now. So then all that's left is, that's why I use this dye right here. I can take any part, oh, except you splatter on white. Let me see if I can get a white wash going without using acrylic. I tried to do this without acrylic paint. I think that's good enough. Yep. Okay. Take a brush like this and do that. That's how you get your dabs of white on it. Just like that. Now, if you want to, you can mix up your acrylic paint and you'll get more vibrant spots of color. But I just try to stay away from acrylics because they're messy on the brush. So all that's left to do here, oh, I want to show you one more thing. Let me go back to one that's not wet. They're both wet. Anyway, if you want to do a little spike of green or whatever, just kind of do a swoop like that and then add a little head to it like that, and then little leaves like that. Then you can fill in with whatever color. I think blue would be pretty down there. Just drop it in like that, and it'll flatten out more as it dries. We need to add a little brown for the stem, like that. I have found that dabbing watercolor is better than stroking watercolor for me. Then you take your dye. This is a great part. I always find the best part of the picture, like I don't want that to be shared. So you take your dye and just move it around till you find the best part of it. And that is how I paint your picture. See this one right here? This one would actually look good that way or this way. Then don't forget to emboss, because embossing really makes a difference on this kind of painting. We'll call it primitive. And that's it, sweet sister. I know you can do it. And I love you. Night, night.